Hatem Dhiab joins us from Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. Always ready to talk some content and some entertainment. There is a lagger in today's market in Disney, which is so close to breaking down to new year lows. Hatem, what is going on with this company?
Man, it's tough to be in the content business right now in Hollywood. There is a lot of changes happening really fast. Disney is in a very peculiar situation. They're trying to move away from the traditional media cable business and go into streaming, which is the right move long term. But the economics of that move have just been really tough, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
This pseudo-political, cultural battle being waged in Florida, it's kind of one of those things where it's hard for me to figure out the best way to go about it as a pure markets guy, because it does sound like a lot of hot air being blown back and forth by men who want to, battle their powers next to each other. But then you start to see stuff like Disney shutting down some of their newer attractions, and it just box office stuff too. Numbers do add up over time, and maybe they're not on the right track. I mean, how does that factor into this, and how do you, as an investor, try and be objective about what's going on?
I tend to think of it just as you do, which is just a lot of hot air. However, Hollywood is leans left, and I think Iger is leaning with his constituents or his employees. But ultimately, he's using this whole feud as a way for him to really reduce cost. What Disney needs to do is to clean up their balance sheet and reduce cost. So not moving a bunch of people to Florida, not closing some amusement parks and so forth is really the right move. They're trying to reduce, I think, $5 to $6 billion, and this is really an easy way of doing it.
Yes, maybe right now it's an enemy that he can almost embrace in a way to sweep some of the hard decisions he's got to make under a political rug. But one of the areas they do want to spend on, though, is perhaps Hulu. What do you make of this report that they just today that they're serious about buying the rest of the shares out from Comcast, right?
Yeah. They're doubling down on streaming, and Hulu gives them the adult content side of things, which is basically being able to general content or adult content, which just gives them really more choices for their really huge base of subscribers. So I think it's the right move. It's going to cost them $8 billion. Probably not the best time to be spending that kind of money because they've already agreed on that valuation, but it is the right move going forward from a strategic standpoint. They're just going to have to work through some other of their contracts to be able to reduce costs in other places.
Okay. ESPN, the right move, taking a little cash influx by selling it?
It's an ongoing conversation. Even here, we're talking about it all the time. ESPN is really probably one of the most valuable properties that we see that Disney has from a content standpoint. Like, we all love sports. We all will pay a lot of money for sports. And ESPN used to generates about $10 per subscriber from cable companies. So it's really a huge cash cow. But trying to go to the ESPN Plus route, which is the streaming route, it only has 25 million subscribers today, but also you don't get all the content because of contracts they currently have with the cable companies. So I think what Iger is trying to do is you're trying to figure out how does he get the really awesome sports content that currently is only available on cable into the ESPN Plus platform and strike a right balance between him and the cable companies. Because ultimately, I think you and I and a lot of people will pay for an ESPN standalone. I think if he can do that, maybe they need to sell it.
Okay. Tough decisions, and right now adding up to weakness in the stock. But not for you guys today. I was just looking at the Gerber Kawasaki ETF, GK, up 2%. Some of the other innovation-focused investors and growth investors are not having as good of a day. So kudos to you guys for being in the right spot on a day like today that is
Go NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Go NVIDIA.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, Hatem. Appreciate it. Hatem Dhiab from Gerber Kawasaki Wealth Investment Management. Disney not having a great one now.